This video will go over validating data using the tools built into FUDSChem, specifically the Data Sample Qualification interface. For information on how to fill out the data review checklist, refer to our Validation Tutorial Data Review Checklist video, which is linked in the description. To start validation, go to Tools, Data, Sample Qualification. Note that the question mark icon on this page shows which permissions you need in order to perform certain tasks. Please reach out to your Synectics point of contact if you need your permissions updated. For more information on permissions, please refer to our FUDSChem Permissions Overview video, linked in the description. Choose the project, SDG, test method, and preparation method to see the data in the grid. You can choose whether to display the field sample IDs or laboratory sample IDs by using the radio button above the sample ID dropdown. You can further filter the list by selecting a specific sample ID or analyte name from the dropdowns. You can also choose to show the QC samples by clicking the checkboxes next to each QC type. Please note, if you come across an error in the lab data itself as you validate, stop. The lab will need to resubmit their corrected data, and any work you have done will need to be reapplied to the new file. The ADR report, found under Reports, ADR and Submission Reports, will contain a summary of any modifications you have made and is a great resource to use as a reference for when the updated data is ready. We go over this report in more detail in our Validation Tutorial Data Review Checklist video, which is linked in the description. The Apply Qualifiers by Batch option can be used to add or adjust qualifiers for an entire batch at once. For example, this could be used to qualify data where sample preservation requirements were not met. Reason codes can be added to indicate why qualifiers were added or edited. In the interface, you can use the dropdowns to select a specific test method, preparation method, leachate lot, extraction lot, or analysis lot to narrow down the list of samples. For this example, we'll say an incorrect preservative was added to the bottle for sample CRB-MW-466S_JAN17. We'll select that sample and select all analytes. We'll choose Sample Preservation Collection Requirement Not Met as the reason code. Note that the P listed after the sample preservation reason we just chose will be the reason code, so once we finish in this interface, we'll see the letter P appear in the DQ reason column for our CRB-MW-466S_JAN17 results. Note a full list of reason codes can be accessed for reference by going to Reports, ADR and Submission Reports, Data Qualifier Reason Code Definitions. In accordance with our QAP, the qualifier for detects will be J. The qualifier for non-detects will be UJ. The DQ bias will be negative. Click Apply. A pop-up asks if we are sure, and notes that if an existing bias conflicts with a new one, it will be set to null. Click OK. The pop-up will tell us that the action is complete. Click OK again, and then close the interface. Once again, we'll choose the test method and preparation method to see the data in the grid. The DQ reason column now includes the P for the preservation issue for all of our CRB-MW-466S_JAN17 records. The Apply Qualifiers with Outlier button is where we would go if we had an outlier, such as a CCV, that was not part of the SDG and needed to be added. Note that using this interface creates an outlier record. For this example, select all of the samples to apply the CCV to them. Select the appropriate analyte, we'll say antimony. Select CCV and click Add New Record. Note the V2 listed after CCV is the reason code associated with the CCV outlier. Remember, a full list of reason codes can be accessed for reference by going to Reports, ADR and Submission Reports, Data Qualifier Reason Code Definitions. Add the information about the CCV as follows. Sample ID is CCV-1. Result is 40. Limits are automatically populated from the eQuap, and units are %. For this example, our hit flag will be X, and a non-detect flag will be X, with a negative bias, indicated with the minus sign. Click the check mark to apply it. Close the interface and once again select the test method and preparation method to view the data in the grid. Now when you look at the antimony results, they are X qualified and have the V2 reason code applied to them. Our last option for editing, which should be used only if we can't get to what we want through the buttons, is the Edit All option in the grid. The grid interface is commonly used for removing qualifiers if FUDSChem's built-in ADR has overqualified. Various columns become editable once we click Edit All. We would be able to make any necessary updates, then click Save All. The pop-up will let us know when saving is complete. We can order any of the fields in the grid alphabetically as long as we are not in edit mode by clicking on the column header. Once the data validator is done, they will click Finalize. Be careful not to click the Reflag button. This button reruns the ADR on the file and overwrites any changes made in this interface. Click Finalize, and when the pop-up asks if you are sure, click OK. The pop-up then says that the qualifiers are finalized. Click OK again. The data will no longer be visible in the grid because it is no longer available to edit. The data can be viewed in reports instead. Our Chemistry Data Approval tutorial video, which is linked in the description, goes into more detail. Once validation is complete, the validator should upload their data validation report to the FUDSChem library under Tools, Library, File Submission. Your project contract may require that you use the validation report that is generated in FUDSChem when you complete the review checklist, or it may allow you to use an outside validation report. For information on the FUDSChem generated validation report that you can use, please watch our Validation Tutorial Data Review Checklist video, which is linked in the description. Please note that the system-generated validation report will use the digitized signature of the person who clicks the Finalize button, provided that person has worked with their Synectics point of contact to digitize their signature. For reference, we go over how to upload reports in our library submission tutorial video, which is linked in the description. As a best practice, we recommend naming the file Data Validation Report SDG, followed by the SDG number. The USACE chemist will then review the data, following the process in the Chemistry Data Approval tutorial video. If edits need to be made after the qualifiers are finalized, a user with the proper permissions can click Unapprove, and enter a reason for unapproval. The qualifiers will once again be editable in this interface. If edits are made, the data validation report submitted to the library should be updated as well. If the USACE chemist finds that everything is correct, they will proceed to click the Screen button. This button screens for potential issues that would be needed to be resolved in the data usability assessment, once all the SDGs for the event are approved. For more information on the data usability assessment, please refer to our data usability assessment video. We found that, by screening at this step, instead of waiting until later when the data usability assessment is finished, we have a greater chance of all parties still being under contract and being available to help track down any potentially missing data. If the USACE chemist reached out to you because there are errors once they click Screen, you will be able to view the errors by clicking on this View Errors Report button. Note that one of the things the checks look for is placeholder data in locations. The EMCX wants to ensure that location data is of the highest possible quality before it transfers behind the USACE firewall into the eChem database, in the data usability assessment step. In this case, you may be unable to assist in resolving errors. Please reach out to your Synectics point of contact with questions in regard to errors. We will be happy to help. Don't forget to subscribe to the FUDSChem YouTube channel for more tutorial videos. All of the tutorials and playlists mentioned during this video are linked in the description below. Lastly, if you have questions or comments, feel free to contact us at fuds.support@synectics.net. Thank you.